Hi guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. Since today is the last day of the year 2020, I thought that today would be the perfect day to let you guys know what are my favorite movies of the year 2020. I've been dying to make this video ever since 2020 started because I just like watching these kinds of video and I also like making it. I started this last year, although I saw a bunch more 2019 movies in the year 2020 than I did in the year 2019, so that list is very not correct. And it's crazy because if I would have told myself at the beginning of 2020 that No Time to Die wouldn't be on this list, Dune wouldn't be on this list, Black Widow wouldn't be on this list, and a countless amount of other movies wouldn't be because they didn't even come out, I wouldn't have even believed you because my list in my head looked completely different than what it ended up being. But even though these big blockbusters didn't end up coming out and a lot of more awesome movies that are pushed back now to 2021 and some indefinitely, I still saw a lot of really good movies. And before I start with my top 10, I would love to know your top 10 of the year, so make sure to let me know down below which one is your favorite movie that you saw this year, or just give me as many as you want. I would love to hear it. And before I start with my top 10 movies, I'm gonna give some honorable mentions. And these movies were almost in my top 10 list. They're like almost there, and those would be Emma, The Gentleman, Get Duked, Birds of Prey, and my last honorable mention will go to Freaky. And now the time has come to give you guys my top 10 list. So coming in at number 10 is Run. Such a good thriller. This movie was fantastic. From start to finish, I was on the edge of my seat and the acting was like literally perfect. Sarah Paulson does no wrong, and she's one of those actresses that even if the movie is something that I'm like, I don't know if that's gonna be good, I know it's not gonna be totally crap because Sarah Paulson is in it, because she's just such a great actress and she did this role amazingly. And Kira Allen plays Chloe, which is the daughter, and she also did an amazing job. To my understanding, this is one of her first, if not her first role, and I would love to see her in more stuff because she was absolutely fantastic in this. And this movie just had an incredible third act. It was really well directed, where on rewatches you get to kind of see other things in the background and notice other things, and on rewatch when you know the plot twist, it just makes it that much better. Coming in at my number 9 is Sound of Metal. This is one that I knew the moment I saw that it had to be in my top 10 of the year. My favorite aspect about this movie, other than the acting, was the sound mixing and the way the film was edited, because a lot of times we get to be in his perspective that I actually thought the movie really needed and made it that much better than it already was, because there were moments where he was listening to music and he was playing his drums and suddenly it all went away and it wasn't even complete silence, it was almost like buzzing, or you heard it very like muffled, and it put you in his shoes, and it was such an amazing way to do that. So I really applaud the editing and the sound mixing. Whatever department that is, they did an exceptional job with that, and of course the acting is amazing. I definitely see him being nominated as Best Actor at the Academy Awards because he definitely deserves it. I was also very surprised by Olivia Cooke. She did a really awesome job. She's not in the movie that much, but she did an amazing job nevertheless. Really, the acting and the editing in this movie is just chef's kiss. Number 8 goes to Sylvias Love, and I'm actually really happy that Amazon sent me a screener to watch this before it dropped on Prime Video, and it was so good. And the thing that I love so much about it is that it was just a story about love, and even though it was centered during the civil rights movement, it didn't center around their race, but it was just a very amazing love story, and it was refreshing because I hadn't seen a love story that I was so into in such a long time, and this one was amazing. The acting again was phenomenal, and I really liked the way the story was told through flashback and then the present, and the characters, all of them were very delightful. It had me smiling the entire way through, and not to mention the incredible soundtrack that this movie had. It was exceptional. My number 7 spot goes to Tenet. This is actually one of the few times I've gone to the theater during the pandemic. This is the first one that I saw like in September when the movie theater started opening. This movie has kind of been a hit and miss for a bunch of people because some people really like it and some people just don't really enjoy it that much, and I think that's fair because I do acknowledge that Christopher Nolan did something that was confusing, but by the time the movie ended I understood it, and I just realized how crazy the mind of Christopher Nolan is, and it's so fantastic. And I think in my ranking I put this in the lower half of my ranking of the Christopher Nolan movies, and I still really love it, and that just shows how much I love Christopher Nolan and how much I think he's an incredible director and a writer. My favorite part about this movie was the visuals. It was just visually stunning, and there were so many scenes, especially the one at the beginning, where I'm just like, this is so grand and so crazy, and I am very fortunate that I did get to go to a movie theater to see this one, because I don't think it would be the same experience if I hadn't seen this in an IMAX screen. My number 6 is another hot controversial one, I guess, just because a lot of people aren't liking this one, and that is Wonder Woman 1984. I actually really enjoyed it, and I don't think it's that much of a mess. Sure, it's not perfect, but it just has so much heart, and it's been so long since I've seen a comic book movie have as much heart as Wonder Woman 1984 does, and the character of Diana is just the most amazing I've seen her in yet, and I absolutely loved it, and I loved the other character, and the score, hello, it's genius, and it deserves some recognition as one of the best scores of the year, if not the best score of the year. And coming in my number 5 spot is Over the Moon, and I don't hear a lot of people talk about this one this year, and I really liked it, and the more I think about it, the more I like this movie. I think I first rated it like a 4 out of 5 stars on Letterboxd, and then I'm like, no, I'm gonna rate it a 4 out of 5 stars, and then I think now I have it a 5 out of 5, because yeah, I just like it. And it talked about the idea of losing someone and someone not being there with you in such a really creative way, in my opinion, and the music is awesome. The animation is fantastic. I'm not even familiar with the animation studios. I think they're associated with Netflix, but they did a really amazing job. It was so colorful, and I loved going to the moon, and it was like such a really cool portrayal of the moon. It kind of reminded me of like in Coco when you go to the land of the dead. That's kind of how I see it here when she went to the moon. It was such a cool and creative way. It was such a different way to see something that we're so familiar with, the moon, and it was just so colorful and so pretty, and I love it, and I'm always listening to the soundtrack, and this is a movie that I could see myself watching day after day, and I would not be bored of. And during the year of 2020, when this movie dropped, it was just like a breath of fresh air to see a movie that just brought me so much happiness and made me feel so good, and that's what Over the Moon did for me. Number 4 is another one that I saw really recently, and I absolutely adored, and that is Wolfwalkers. Wolfwalkers is so good, and it's an Apple TV original, and I don't think that streaming service is that popular, so I don't know if that many people have watched this movie, but whenever you guys get the chance to, please do. The animation just looked like different color pencil drawings because you could kind of see the sketch marks, and the colors were so pretty, the style was so distinctive, and the story was just so emotional and so investing at the same time. Like, I wanted to know what happened after scene, and the characters were super well written, and I also cared about each of them. This is definitely one of the most creative and unique animations I've seen in a long time. And coming in my number 3 is another animated movie that came out recently, Soul. Of course I had to put this in here. I mean, I really liked this movie. A movie that just made me think so much about my life, and in the year of 2020, when everything has been really bad, I think a movie like this is just so helpful, and I'm so glad that they released it when they did, because I really loved the message, and it was so amazing, and the animation was just flawless. It lets me smile the entire way through, and it's just a really special movie that I just really love, and I hope that a lot of kids are also watching it because I think it has one of Pixar's best messages. And coming in at my number 2 is The Invisible Man. I'm so happy that I got to include a horror movie on this list, and the best part is that this horror movie had some sci-fi elements into it, and horror and sci-fi are both of my favorite genres, so it was just amazing from beginning to end. Elizabeth Moss is so talented. Like, I've known this for a long time, but she is so good in this, and it was so great, and it was also such a really awesome like modern take on the tale of the Invisible Man, and it was like legitimately scary because there were so many scenes where I'm like, how are you gonna get out of that? And it was just so fantastic, and the ending, that last act was so powerful. It was just so good, and I loved the way this movie was directed. It had a lot of shots where it was like still shots, and then something was happening in that one corner, and as a massive horror movie fan, this movie completely pleased me. And this is another one that the more I think about it, the more I like it, because it did so many things in such a smart way. And now my number 1, if you've been watching my channel for a while now, you might not be surprised by this one, but my favorite movie of the year 2020 is Onward. I had such a blast watching this movie. I've made 2 videos about it. Two videos about it. I had a review up like in March, and then I did a video essay that I'm really proud of, so I'll link that down below if you haven't seen it. And I just absolutely adore this movie so much. The voice acting is great. Tom Holland and Chris Pratt both did an excellent job amongst the other cast in the movie, and it's just that third act is literally the reason I adore this movie so much, because to me it's great from beginning to end. The message that it had is something that I really needed this year, and I heavily related to. Seeing something that I've gone through shown in a Pixar movie was so fantastic, and I hope that so many people take the message to heart, and I'm gonna cry. I really like this movie. I really adore it, and every single time that I watch it, I just love it again and again. I'm not saying anything else because I feel like I'm gonna be repeating myself because I've talked about this movie so much on my channel. This is also the last movie I saw before COVID shut down all the movie theaters, and I think it was a pretty good one to end my pre-COVID theater experience days. And actually, I forgot to put this little guy in my background.
2 seconds later.
There. Ian. What a great character. I absolutely loved him just as much as I loved this movie. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video and being with me in the year 2020. My channel grew a lot in this year, and my channel last year didn't even have like 100 subscribers, and now I'm at like 370, I think. So thank you so much. Really means a lot, and I love seeing you guys comment. Literally every single time one of you comments, I have a huge smile on my face, so just thank you. And please let me know down below your top 10 movies of the year, or if you don't have 10 movies to give me, just as many as you want. I just want to see some good movies down there because I haven't watched every single 2020 release. And make sure to come back tomorrow because I am going to have my top 10 most anticipated movies of 2021, hoping that they don't get moved, because if not, that video will be very funny to look back on. And I promised you guys that I would announce my 2 new series that I'm going to be doing on my channel starting in January, and those 2 are... So I'm going to be starting in January a Steven Spielberg series and a James Bond series. And for my Steven Spielberg series, I don't know if those will come out weekly or every once in a while, but I am planning to do that series throughout the entire year because at the end of the year West Side Story comes out, and I just thought it would be a really great way to watch his movies because he is one of my favorite directors and I'm so excited to watch his movies. And because No Time to Die is supposed to come out in April of 2021, I decided to watch all 24 or 25. I forgot the number. I'll put it here when I'm editing this. So I hope you guys enjoy those, and I will also be doing just other movie reviews. I have my Star Wars series and I have my Halloween series still going on. I didn't do one this month because I've been very busy, so next month I'll just review 2 Halloween movies. This was a very long outro, so I hope you stayed the entire way through, and I hope you guys have a very happy new year and that the new year is just better for all of us. That's all we can just hope for. I hope to catch you guys next time, and again, thank you and have a happy new year. Bye guys!